Yo, yo, yo. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing out there? This is your boy Cable. Welcome to episode 8 of Thinking Out Loud. And check me out right on this episode. I wanted to talk about this trending topic that's going around the internet. This topic is about some of my favorite characters from Marvel. It's This topic is about X-Men and about the animated series that's coming out right now. It's called X-Men 97. I know a lot of people are basically saying that X-Men always been woke. Now, I used to be one of the people that thought the same thing. Not that they've been woke, you know what I mean? But I did think that X-Men was basically like reflecting on the things that were going on in real life at the time when they came out, which was from the 60s all the way till now, right? So I always thought of Professor X and Magneto. You know, I always thought that it was an exact representation of, Magneto being Malcolm X and Professor X, Xavier being a representation of Martin Luther King. But I did my research on it, and that's not the case. As a matter of fact, I have a clip that I'm going to play for you guys that is basically Stanley, rest in peace, Stanley explaining how that wasn't what he was trying to do, but subconsciously, maybe he's like, it just kind of by coincidence, these characters um, was kind of a reflection of what minorities were going through at the time, and also uh, homophobia and all these other things. So people been like, I've been telling people like, look, it wasn't made to be that way. That wasn't his intention. And people been calling me a Nimrod and calling me all types of names on online because I've been stating facts that that wasn't what he was trying to do, but it just so happened that the similarities were there with the struggle of people that were going through certain things. And then they looked at X-Men like, man, that's kind of similar to what we're going through. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, people started saying, and I know that it was based on this certain thing, but coming out of Stan Lee's mouth, he specifically said that it was by pure coincidence that it happened that way. That wasn't that like that was far from his mind. That it was never meant to be what people call woke nowadays. Because honestly, I feel like, to me, the word woke means being aware of false narratives and always seeking for the truth, always staying aware, you know what I mean, of the deception and of propaganda. To me, that's what woke means. But nowadays, I think they flip that word and they have turned it into like something else, which I don't really understand. Maybe you guys could tell me what woke means to you guys in the comments. But to me, that's what it always meant. Now I'm seeing that it's, I don't know, it's just weird to me and I don't understand it. But yeah, I just wanted to bring to your attention that X-Men was never woke, and it was never, put it this way, not that it wasn't woke, but that wasn't Stanley's intention. He didn't create the X-Men thinking of certain groups. It was like well, according to the video that I'm about to show you, it was basically off of I wouldn't say laziness, but it was definitely based off of the fact that he didn't want to create an origin story for each character. You know how Spider-Man became Spider-Man, and Daredevil became Daredevil. They weren't born that way. So in order to make it quicker and to like he didn't want to do all that, he's like, you know what? What if these these characters I create are born this way? You know what? That will make everything so much easier. So that's really where it came from. It was basically like he just was like, you know what, man, I'm not going to create an origin story for them and how they got their powers. They were just born this way. And I think it would be kind of cool that if the average person, the regular Joe, don't like them because they were born with abilities and, whatever the case may be. So without further ado, I'm going to show you this video. And this is just to like stop the rumors about X-Men being woke on purpose, and that Stan Lee's main purpose was to, make it for certain demographics. It wasn't like that. And to keep going with this, I just want to say I don't I don't mind what they're doing right now with X-Men 97. I heard that Morph is non-binary, which it would make sense, that he's non-binary. He wasn't like that originally in the original X-Men cartoons, but I don't have a problem with it because if anybody would be binary, it would make perfect sense that Morph is binary because he could transform his body into anyone and any. I don't know about anything, but I know he could transform his body into anyone. So I'm cool with that. Another thing that I noticed that they did with Rogue. She in the original cartoons and in the comic books, they always drew her with a gorgeous body, and I feel like now they dumbed it down. They made her a little more, you know, more rated PG, rated G, which is fine, honestly, because we need to. At the same time, kids are gonna, this show is meant for kids, so it is what it is, man. We grew up in an era where everything was a little bit more like, I guess, raunchy. I guess I'm not sure, man, but I don't have a problem with Rogue looking the way she looks right now. Anyways, like I'm just happy to see X Men continue with what I'm really happy to see the cartoons coming back. I used to love those cartoons, and I got a bunch of X Men comic books. They're my favorite characters in Marvel, and it's just really dope to see these cartoons back on TV. I believe is Disney. That's bringing them back. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it. But yeah, man, let's roll the clip. Y'all let me know what y'all think about what Stanley said, and did it finally put that rumor to rest? This is your boy Cable. Till next time, peace.
X-Men. People are talking about it right now because the X-Men 97 thing happened, and because there was these conflicting reports about Morph. You had, of course, these folks going around perpetuating the myth again that is a complete lie, that the X-Men were created to be similar to the civil rights era, or black injustice, gay injustice, or something of that nature, or of course that long-standing lie, which is a relatively recent phenomenon. I say long-standing, but it is a relatively recent phenomenon, with a lie that is Professor X and Magneto are somehow Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X. Just not true, objectively. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to listen in to a radio show that happened back in 2007 on Coast to Coast with George Nuri. He actually had a fill-in that day, so Ian Punnett was the one that was hosting it. So let's just listen in. We're going to listen in directly to Stan Lee's words here. Check this out. right here. Let's listen in.
I mean, there are things like that people catch that you may not have even known that you were putting in there. But
you are so right. Now take the X-Men. I was just originally trying to get an interesting group of characters with interesting powers, and I thought it would make it twice as interesting if the public really didn't like them that much.
Oh, that's interesting.
And if they had to worry about their reception by the outside world, little by little I began getting mail saying how great it is that I'm doing these stories about bigotry and the evils of bigotry and so forth, and race hatred. And I guess I was doing that, but I was doing it subconsciously. That wasn't the main purpose.
So that goes, of course, in line. There's some other things that he said.
Yeah, because all of you keep saying it's the main purpose. That was the original purpose. That was the main purpose. It was the what's these? What are these morons talking about?
Is that we're going to listen into a bunch of different interviews and public statements that he's made regarding the X-Men. He created them really out of laziness, if you want to call it that. He said that he just wanted to create these cool groups of characters. He didn't want to have to sort of come up with these like origin stories. What if he just said that they were born that way, and that's how you got the mutants, that's how you got X-Men. And the best literature, of course, is going to have people say, hey, this may be similar to that, okay? And it's oftentimes in your own mind. And there's nothing wrong with that. You find these similarities. So what Stan Lee is saying is that, yeah, okay, maybe the similarity might be there, but I didn't try to do that. He didn't do it on purpose. That was not his goal. Now listen in on this as well.
And when the X-Men...
You didn't consciously try to do it, but you just take it and run with it and just believe that. You just believe anything you just hear on the internet or someone posts. That's it. And then you just believe it. Everybody knows. Like, everybody knows it's about racism. It's about bigotry. It's about being accepted. It's all about all that.
We enjoyed its reincarnation on film. There was a lot of talk about how this was really the story of homophobia.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
And that was not wasn't part of the original blueprint.
No, it was the furthest thing from my mind.
Right.
It was the furthest thing from his mind. You are wrong. Take the L.
So there you have it right there. He quite literally said that was the furthest thing from his mind. He wasn't thinking about that. That had nothing to do with the creation of the X-Men. Now, I would encourage people to just go read X-Men books. You would be saying some very damning things about Brother Malcolm X if you were to say that they were somehow similar, or more so with Magneto, was similar to Malcolm X, because Magneto for a very long time was just a cutthroat, evil villain who wanted to rule over humans. That wasn't what Brother Malcolm X ever was. Now, the similarities that people often point to isn't even Stan Lee's era. It's the Claremont era. But Claremont himself, which you can go watch my previous video that I've done on this topic, he himself has flat out admitted the civil rights era had nothing to do with what it is that he was trying to create. When you had the retcon of like with the Holocaust connection and everything there, that didn't happen until well over a decade, and after they had been already created. And again, that was during Claremont's era. He was more so representing begin in this whole Jewish dichotomy. That was his influence. It was not the civil rights era. But people will perpetuate this lie. And it's simply not true. It has never been true. X-Men, by the way, are not the only people in the world, characters that have been ostracized and such. And yes, while there may be some similarities that you can point to regarding different eras, to say that they were created to be that way is a lie. And I just gave you the receipts yet again of Stan Lee himself saying that was the
only pipe dream in your mind.
Furthest from what he was even thinking about.
There we go. He got it right there.